Welcome back to the ZeroW Podcast, where we talk about lifting, coaching, and more. You can learn more about Zero by going to www.zero.com.au. That's Zero with a W. We are also proudly sponsored by Establishment Coffee. Head to establishmentcoffee.com.au. Use the code 025 for 25% off and free shipping. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's what all the cool kids say. And if you're on Spotify, hit that 5-star review. We love it. Enjoy the show now. CJ's back in the hot seat. Welcome, brother.
Hello, hello.
What are you doing? Finding a quote?
Yes.
Bro, you've had all week to do this.
You've had like 6 months to do this, actually.
Yeah, no, I've got one.
Nice. Well, why don't you kick us off with your quote?
We're starting with quotes?
What
All
else
right.
do we start with? Gratefuls.
What we've been up to?
I don't think we did Gratefuls last week.
No.
No, we
I think
didn't.
forgot. We're rusty.
Do you know what I'm grateful for?
What?
I'm grateful for hats.
Hats.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, you're having a bad hair day. It's a little bit sunny.
James, you have no hair.
I know.
Bad hair day.
CJ's my barber. I don't have bad hair days.
So, yeah, I'm grateful for hats. You know, the sun, it can make a whole outfit. Yeah, hats.
So when I was in grade 9, I had long hair, and for some reason I decided to shave my head not fully shaved, like a number 2 all over. But at school they used to make you take your hats off when you went into class.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if your school did that. So I always wore a hat. I had long hair, so it was out the side of my hat. And then when I decided to shave my head, I just shaved the top part and left like around the side. So I was wearing a hat to school, and everyone just thought it was normal. And then I had to take my hat off in class, and I was like, surprise.
Why?
The reverse fade.
I remember I remember in the school holidays when I was younger, during the league season, we'd do scaffolding.
Yeah.
And I remember that one of the supervisors was the biggest wanker. And then we had to do a job at the prison. So we all had to take photos. And I remember he took his hat off and he just had long hair around the sides and it was bald in the middle. And I remember me and my mate were like, you can no longer be mean to us.
Mean.
That's the most Kiwi sentence ever. You're scaffolding and then had to go work at prison. There you go. All right, Meg, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for our little friend at Bellissimo Coffee. One of the podcast listeners, Nick, we met ages ago now. Just so happened because we frequent this coffee shop in Brisbane, and he sent us a parcel. He sent us some beans, and he's just like a really big supporter of the podcast and us. And so I'm grateful for our coffee beans.
Yeah.
And Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Nick's the man. He found us through Melbourne Strength Culture, I
Yes,
believe.
yes.
I think he went to school with those boys.
Now I'm remembering because I was telling James a story yesterday. The first time we ever met him, he just looked at us and he was like, #1 in the charts, #1 in your hearts. And we just were like, what?
Yeah, he wrote it on the coffee cup.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he
Nice.
plays rugby. He just went internationally and played in like Greece and maybe Croatia or something like that.
Oh, wow. That's sick.
Yeah. So Nick's the man. We always go out of our way when we're in Brisbane to go have coffee at Bellissimo Coffee. And he was kind enough to send that parcel over there and a bunch of beans.
Hook him up with a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should bring him a shirt.
Yeah,
next
I was
time.
going to, and now you've ruined the surprise.
Oh,
if anyone listens
sorry,
to this.
surprise ruined.
So there you go.
Surprise ruined.
Imagine if I said that and Tom was like, nah.
All right. The problem is,
Shirt.
I if you bring it up, I have to be like, yes. If I say no, I'm a dick. And if I say yes and I don't follow through, I'm also a dick.
Of course we'll bring him on. We should do it. Are we going to Brisbane this weekend?
Yeah,
No.
but I want to wait until the hoodies and stuff come in.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll take him some winter stuff as well.
Oh.
That'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. CJ, what are you grateful for this week?
This week, I'm grateful for one of my mates. I'm grateful for all my mates, but
John.
Yes, the bro John. He's one of my closest friends, and it was his birthday this week, and I just reminisced on our, friendship. We've known each other for a very, very long time. Our parents knew each other before one of us were born. And yeah, he's like one of those guys that I can always call on to for any technical help. Or anything at all, or if I ever need like, hey bro, I need to change the exhaust on my car, he'll come around and help me. Like he's always Yeah, he's a true friend. Helped me move house, so he's a G.
Can you send me his number?
The bro from the gym. Remember him?
Was
Needs
John
help.
was John who helped you figure out all the sound stuff?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John's
yeah.
the man.
He is
Yeah.
the man.
He's a man. He's a G.
I met him at in Brisbane when we were at the Filipino Food Festival.
Oh yes, yeah. Man, the food there was good.
Yeah, I always just dap him up every time I see him.
Yes.
I'm grateful for my bed. I think it's safe to say that I'm a fussy sleeper. I need a very specific sleeping arrangement of pillows and sheets and bedding. And traveling's great, but being out of your own bed sucks after a while. So it's nice to be in my own bed.
Nice.
Moving
Jinx.
on.
Wow.
Quote?
Moving on.
Sorry, sorry, my
Anyway.
grateful is so uninteresting to everyone.
next.
Right? Righto. Anyway. Right, what are our quotes?
All right, got a quote here. Winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all-time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing.
Nice. Mamba mentality. Who was that?
Vince Lombardi.
Who's that?
I don't know, but he's always got the good... is he a hockey guy?
Vince
Lombardi.
I'm pretty sure he's NFL.
Vince.
Nah, he's the top of the WWF.
That's Vince McMahon. Yeah, a football coach.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Lombardi,
He's a
Lombardi
football
Trophy.
coach.
is
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. What you got, CJ? Batman.
No, it's Hormozy.
Oh,
It says,
my dog.
until you win, effort always goes unnoticed.
Yeah, I like that.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
I like that. Mine is suffering always happens more in our imagination than in reality.
Facts.
So true.
Next.
Where's that one from?
Anyway.
Anyway, Meg, what do you got?
That's a Seneca quote.
Ooh.
Seneca.
Yep. He's
Yeah.
one of the Stoics.
Okay. Mine is a Dave Grohl quote.
Yeah.
He says, I had no idea what I was doing and I faked it and it worked.
Nice.
Yes. So just fake it till you make it vibes.
Big fan of Dave Grohl.
We did his audiobook
As well,
in
yeah.
America.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What? What's that?
What's it called?
I don't know.
Do you know what I was going to say? I was going to say scar tissue, but that's fucking
God.
Anthony
Yeah.
Kiedis.
No, not quite.
It's called Tales of Life and Music. And they really are tales. He's a full-on storyteller.
He's a big time storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's
Like
cool.
very eloquent, but also funny and like interesting.
Does he narrate it as well?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was actually a really good book, even if you're not into that kind of music or whatever.
Yes.
Sweet.
Serious, just on music. Are you guys listening to anything at the moment?
Well, Meg showed me the Kendrick beef drama last night.
Yeah, we were like on Spotify and just like reading the lyrics in silence together, like
Yeah.
for like 10 minutes straight.
It's a good beef.
But yeah, for me, I typically listen to the same thing over and over, which is just like classical music on repeat. But I've been on a real emo kick lately.
Yeah?
I've been listening to all my like 16-year-old emo Thomas
Yeah,
music
nice.
from high school.
Have you noticed, well, before we went on holiday and before you left, I was playing lots of like emo stuff in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was emo.
Nah?
There's a little bit of punk, yeah.
Yeah, it was like emo punk kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was less of that tropical stuff you were playing for a while. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Tropical
Dub
drum and
roots,
yeah.
reggae.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reggae.
Yeah, man.
You go through phases, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
It went pretty, it was 50 Cent for ages, then it
Yep.
was like chill vibes for a
50
while.
Cent's so good.
It is.
Now it's like
so good.
old rock and roll.
Yeah, it's good.
While you guys are away, that's literally what I played here was 50 Cent. Because I don't know what the night crew, not to bag at, but they have some whack taste.
They do.
I come here like during the day, I'm like, what is playing? And Declan will be like, that's not mine, bro. You can change it. And then I'll put on 50 Cent.
I'm pretty sure they just search like worst noise available on Spotify and just hit shuffle.
I always, I'll go through Haz's playlist sometimes because Haz has got some good hip hop playlists, but then his other playlists, oh my goodness, it's literally just noise.
It's funny what people listen to. I remember like when I was coaching a lot, I used to like taking, people can't take their headphones on the platform, like taking their headphones off and putting them on to see what they're listening to. Josh Wiseman used to listen to like, what's the motivational guy's name?
Dave Goggins?
No. Robbins.
Tony
Tony Robbins. He used to listen to that sort of stuff
Oh.
when he was warming up and,
So
and
not
getting ready
music.
for lifting. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. Lots of people surprisingly listen to like cinematic movie kind of music.
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's the one thing I was like, that was cool. I walked in here and Hans Zimmer was playing.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no. But that's me. That's what I'm listening to. But Meg, what are you listening to?
Just everything.
Everything,
I
always.
always listen to everything, and I don't care so much about lyrics as I do just the sound. I've noticed because my top played artist last year was just a Russian band. I don't know a word of what they're
Russian
saying.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
Me, I'm a hip hop head, so I'm always listening to hip hop. But I listen to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bridget's got me into country music.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken me like 2 years to actually appreciate it now. And I actually understand country music, like what it's about, like the simple life. Kind of, I don't know, like.
It doesn't take much to understand it. They're just thinking about like their tractor breaking down.
So I've been enjoying country music. Modern country music, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's usually a similar like story, right? Like hard beginnings, working tirelessly, then making it. That's usually the story, right?
Pretty much. I don't know, I feel like all music has the same storyline or,
This is true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even my Russian techno.
Yes. CJ, what you got? What are you listening to?
Well, yeah, pretty much just that 50 Cent radio, where so it's like I guess old school hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm so sad I didn't see him live.
Incredible.
All right. Well, I'll kick us off with a topic, which is going to be last time we spoke about our trips away, but I had another trip away after all that. I went to Wales to run the first comp over there with the guys at Zero Wales. And it was actually my first time seeing Zero Wales in the flesh. Like I flew over there last year to help them build it, but the state it was in when I was left, it wasn't a gym. Like we put the flooring down for the most part, but not all of it. And we built the equipment and got a general layout, but it was a bomb site when I left. And there was still a lot of renovations going on. So it's interesting because a lot of people are like, whoa, what's it like? What's it like to see it now? And because I see it every single day, it wasn't like I wasn't floored by it, but I was definitely impressed. Like it's a really nice gym, really real cool gym. And like I'm always mind blown by being able to walk into a Zero, not know anyone, but still feel like home. And you guys, it's not me with a bias because I know what Zero is. Anyone that's trained at any of these gyms would feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a cool crew, such a good gym. And yeah, it was great. The huge thing about it though is like they'd never run a comp. Like Jordan's never run a comp. Most of the helpers hadn't done comp stuff before. The guy that's heading up the federation for us over there, he was competing at the comp, so he wasn't really on the ground running the comp with it, even though he has a little bit of experience. And even with all that, it was just like coming to a comp here. Like everything ran pretty much without a hitch. It was crazy. It was really cool.
That's awesome because I reckon I've run, I don't know how many comps I've helped you set up for and run. Let's just say five a year. I reckon maybe almost 50 comps.
A lot.
Yeah. Maybe more than that, I don't know. But I still wouldn't feel confident if you're like, hey, I'm gone. I'm like, oh, shit.
You would.
Yeah.
If you're in the deep end, you would.
Yeah. But there's still little things. So, like, yeah, that's really impressive.
It's not hard. It's just you panic that you've forgotten something, or if something goes wrong, you just have to keep your head on and sort it on the spot really quick. It's just people panic when something's not going perfectly to plan, but no one else really notices that much. Like, people just love it. But yeah, it was really cool. Like Jordan over there has done an amazing job with that gym. Biz, who manages it with him, is doing amazing too. The whole crowd and community is unreal. So yeah, it was really cool to get over there and see everyone and see the team come together and move the gym, because it was quite a big effort moving the gym around. They've got, like, you'll have seen on Instagram, that big powerlifting room. We had to take pretty much everything next door. So a couple of trees worth of weights, most of the combos. And then in that room, we had to move all the equipment around to create the warm-up room. Like, there was a bit of effort that went into moving it around, but there were heaps of people, and heaps of people stayed behind to help. And just like here, like, we had the gym packed up and done early afternoon.
Oh, wow.
In a competition with over 30 lifters. So that was a really, really cool effort.
When's the next one?
They're doing a novice comp sometime sort of in the third quarter of the year, and probably another sanctioned one towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz created around the comp now, around how it was run, how it was conducted, the fact that there was drug testing at it, and a lot of buzz around the equipment and everything as well, because that's quite rare. Like, I was shocked to learn, so in the UK, the IPF is the biggest fed by a landslide. I can't remember off the top of my head if they have 4,000 members or 6,000, but it's a lot, like in the thousands. And this year is the first year they've ever run nationals not at a gym like this, which is mind-blowing to me. The fact that they haven't run a big comp in a venue. So it kind of highlights, the standard of our competition just being a local competition, but having a warm-up room with several Eleco racks, all calibrated plates, all the same bars, and just organized so beautifully was awesome.
That's awesome. Also, Biz, he also ran I follow Biz pretty closely on Instagram.
Yeah, he did the Boston Marathon just before.
Yeah, and he went sub 3 hours,
Yeah.
which is fucking awesome.
He went to Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, UK to Boston is only like a 5-hour flight.
Oh, wow.
What?
True, yeah. Because it's like top.
Maybe a bit more, 6 or 7. But yeah, it's not that far.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much the equivalent of us flying to Perth.
Holy moly.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but he was telling me all about it, about like Heartbreak Hill and like how the track is different to, he said it was like the only non-loop track in the world or something.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest courses.
Yeah.
If you wanna run a fast marathon, you don't do Boston.
Yeah. And sub 3 is pretty good.
Sub 3 is that's like 4 minutes 14 per kilometer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really impressive. Like some of my friends that are lightning fast, like my friend Johnny, who just did the half marathon in Shell Harbour, he ran 3:48 per kilometer.
Yeah.
So that's flying. So I think he came 5th overall.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't gone sub 3 for a mara.
Yeah.
So yeah, sub 3, that's your fast. That's some people's lifetime goal. If I was still running today, that would be like the lifetime goal.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent to like squatting your first 300 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
What was his time again?
It was like 2:59.08
Oh my God.
or something.
Per kilometer.
No.
No.
That's 2 hours and 59 for the marathon.
Oh.
Yeah, so 4:15 per kilometer. 4:14. Yeah.
I thought you meant like, you know how, James, you'll do like a 6-minute kilometer? That's what I thought you were saying when you said 2:59, like 3 minutes per kilometer. I was like, that's not human.
No, the fastest marathon run in the world ran 2:50 per kilometer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's insane.
It's like a sprint.
I've seen it.
How many Ks per hour does that equate to?
It would be like,
Like 12 or 15 Ks per hour?
it's like 25 or.
That's like a sprint.
So
Yeah.
if you go and put the treadmill up at a commercial gym,
Yes.
They
it
only
doesn't.
go to like 15.
It doesn't. No, they go to about 24, 25, but it still doesn't go as fast as that. As what they run the mara in.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So if you see elite marathon runners, that it literally looks like they're sprinting.
Is it just because they've got such massive strides as well?
They've got, just mechanically they run so perfect. And then Johnny, my friend, was telling me that that the Japanese marathon runners, they weigh like 56 kilos, 57 kilos, like the males.
Yeah.
So, they're built for that.
Yeah, insane. Is it like, how powerlifters talk themselves out of it before they even try? They're like, oh, I'll never be made for squats or deadlifts or whatever. Do people do that with marathon stuff? Like, oh, I'm not tall enough to run?
Nah, not at all. It's the one sport where I've been like, man, like I've never seen you'll see like someone who you deem out of shape, like physically, but that guy's quite like heavy, quite chubby. And it's like, whoa, that guy ran 4 minutes per kilometer. Me and Johnny found this guy on YouTube. He was like a 60-year-old man. And in the video, Johnny was behind him. So this 60-year-old man was running 4 minutes 14 per kilometer.
Yeah.
So like it's one of those sports that's it's really unsuspecting.
Yeah.
Obviously, once you get to the elite end of things, everyone kind of looks the same or they're built the same. But
Sure.
yeah, no, it's crazy. It's it's pretty cool.
I feel like in a sport like that as well, that's so saturated. Like there's so many competitors. It's not as simple. Like in powerlifting, it's quite easy to compare yourself to someone near the top, especially because there's so many tops.
Yeah.
Like the top of my weight class locally and then nationally, internationally. And because the the competitor pool is quite small, it's easy to compare yourself to the top, whereas in marathons, you'd be like, that person's a million miles away. I can't compare myself to them. So it's a lot more like me versus me kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why it's mind-blowing now that Johnny and some of those boys I used to run with, they're all coming like 5th, 6th, 8th at races now. And I'm like, whoa, you guys are proper fast now. Like if I ran a race at the GC 25, the last one I did, I came 100th. So I came top 100, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And to me, that's good. You know, if you heard 100, you'd be like, oh, fuck, that's pretty cool. But then hearing like 3rd, 4th, 5th, you're like, whoa, that's
Top
like,
10. That's
especially
wild.
in a pool out of 1,000 people, 2,000 people,
Yeah.
3,000, whatever it is.
Yeah. I always think that about elite sports. Like, you know, you watch sprinting at the Olympics, you watch Usain Bolt, and the guy that comes 8th, slow as hell.
The outside lane.
Try harder, mate.
Yeah.
And he's like literally one of the fastest people on the planet. You're like, nice try. What are you even doing here?
And then you look at the times, and then he ran it by like half a second slower.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They made, it's like 10 meters per second kind of thing. It's like it's freaky.
Wild. Yeah, but that's my recap of Wales anyway. I don't have a great deal else to say about that, unless anyone has any questions.
No, I could just ask Jordan this. When's Jordan going to compete again?
He's doing a competition called Spartan Raw in I think 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm. It's
relatively soon. So he's ramping up pretty quickly. It's more just, he's not going super hard for it. It's more just to wet his feet again. And I think he's doing in sleeves.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I think he wants to squat 300 in sleeves because he's never done it.
He'll do that easy though, won't he?
Should do.
Yeah. What does the you're just talking about how it's filled with IPF, like everyone competes in the IPF in the UK. What does the landscape of powerlifting look like in the UK at the moment?
I mean, it's very similar to here. It's very similar to here like a few years ago. Maybe not. The IPF is definitely the dominant federation by far, but it's the same everywhere in terms of the organizational issues that powerlifting has, in the sense that there's not a lot of top-down leadership. Everyone's kind of left to their own devices. So obviously powerlifting's big and does well in the UK. It just hasn't been innovated for a long time. And that's kind of what we're hoping to do. You know, staying in our lane. We're not trying to say we're better than everyone else, but we're just trying to bring a bit of a new flavor to it all and make it a bit nicer, make it a bit cleaner, make it a bit more organized. But it's very, very, very IPF heavy. And it's because the options there for non-IPF drug-tested powerlifting is so limited. So there's not a USAPL presence. I think someone's tried to do it, and it hasn't taken. And there's like WRPF, and maybe I can't remember the British name of the Fed, but it's a Fed that has drug testing in it, but it's just not respected as like an alternative drug-tested federation to the IPF.
Because I was talking to Fraser. What's his last name? Fraser. Marriott, that's the one. And he was saying, in the UK, it's just IPF.
Yeah. No, so, I mean, like, the other side of powerlifting is quite big, but if you're not in it, if you're not in one or the other, you're kind of unaware of the other one. Very similar to here. You know, like, a lot of people don't look outside of their backyard. And so if you're heavily entrenched in IPF, you kind of don't pay attention to non-IPF powerlifting. If you're heavily entrenched in the other side of GPC or whatever federation you're part of, you don't pay that much attention to the IPF side of things. But IPF is definitely massive over there. And again, it's because there's been no relevant, viable alternative. And the comments that we were receiving about our competition, just in terms of like directly comparing to IPF, I think will blow up. I think we'll do really well, just like APL has done well here. On the same weekend was a comp called Bucks, British University Championships, and that attracts people from all over the country. So the gym was packed all week and weekend with university kids and teams coming and doing casual sessions at Zero Wales, which is cool to meet people. There were a bunch of like high-level IPF lifters who were coaches that were coming along. It was cool to meet everyone and see some big lifts and everything. And we're all about that. Like, we're just about powerlifting. So the whole weekend, we had Bucks playing on the live feed on the TVs.
That's cool.
Even the morning of our competition, we had Bucks up on the live feeds of the TVs until we changed it to like the comp stuff. Powerlifting is very healthy in the UK. We're just trying to add to it.
I just think like from like a global sports perspective, like America do sports so well, They do it, it's huge. Every sport's massive. And I'm assuming there's lots of funding for it. Same with powerlifting in America.
Powerlifting in America is pretty much the same story.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because one of my clients, Amanda, she sent me a photo of her high school team that she coaches. So she coaches she's a coach as well, and the powerlifting team she coaches. And it is huge. Like, there would have been about 50 or 60 powerlifters from one high school.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, you try to find 60 powerlifters on the Gold Coast, kind of, like, do you know what I mean? And
Sure.
yeah, and I'm like, fuck, that's from one school in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yep.
Like, that's not even that's not even, like, Texas is like the home of powerlifting for high school powerlifting anyway.
Yes.
And at one stage, Texas high school powerlifting, whatever it is, that was the biggest federation in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Wild to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously New Mexico being around the corner, they're probably bleeding out that way as well, which is so cool. I think the big difference that I noticed with American stuff in general, and not just sports, but everything's just taken a little bit more seriously. And people take their jobs very seriously, it seems, for the most part.
Well, this is a complete opposite to what you said when we did our recap.
What'd I say?
Or maybe this was off air.
No. But I think Tom Bro would mean that, like, when people say take their jobs, like jobs they actually want to work.
Yes.
Okay, not like in hospitality or as
No.
servers or
Yeah. By the same token, there's a lot of people like you walk into somewhere and you're standing at the counter and they're literally just sitting there
scrolling their
texting
phone.
or scrolling Instagram. And after they're sick of it, they'll be like, "Can I help you?"
It's like you've inconvenienced.
Yeah, that happened to us quite a bit.
100%. Yeah. You are the problem by existing. Yeah.
Oh dear.
But no, I'm always mind blown. This is a weird observation, but just like, security at the mall will take their job so seriously and have like the full kit, be wearing gloves. Americans love gloves, hey. Americans just love wearing gloves.
Speaking of security, in Bali, at the spot we were getting a tattoo, the security guard was asleep. I'm like, fuck, that's so good. He's just in the chair, and Bridget's sitting next to him in the chair, like in the waiting room. He's just asleep, and I'm like, that's so funny.
Is it like the Philippines? Like, are they all armed with like?
I know the military are. It's not as bad as the Philippines.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe in places like Jakarta, but Bali's like a little tourist island, so I don't think it's like that.
All right. Well, what's our other topic?
Meg Dog.
The topic that I presented was some of our favorite powerlifting memories or most remarkable ones, because sometimes they pop up when we're talking about, a recent comp, or you guys would be like, remember that time at Pro Raw 2, and like, you'll just bring up stuff. But I don't know if we've ever spoken about our favorite or most memorable ones that just stick with us. Maybe we have, or maybe it's been a while. But yeah, I just thought that could be something interesting to talk about.
Kick us off. What's yours?
My one is my first powerlifting meet ever, because I have this client at the moment, she'll go unnamed, who's about to do her first competition. And there's a lot of pressure on her. And I think that because, it's fantastic that powerlifting only continues to grow. But then when there's more of a spotlight on powerlifting, I guess there's more expectations that kind of arise from that. So she's just thinking, I've got to be competitive. Should I do a weight cut? This, and this. And I remember my first meet, I did not know the rules. And I was so relaxed because I really realize the gravity of what competing in a powerlifting meet was. And so I just had literally the best competition ever and the most fun day, and performed amazingly because that was the least pressure I had on me. And I wish that every lifter doing their first meet could have that experience, but I feel like as powerlifting grows, it almost becomes harder to deliver an experience like that. But overall, it's a good thing. Like, you want the sport to grow, but I also feel like that opportunity is kind of lost on a lot of people nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But yeah, my first powerlifting meet was so much fun. Like, I think I was kind of instructed to do one of the rules, like lock out your knees on my first squat, because I didn't realize you had to have locked out knees and stuff.
What federation was that?
That was PA.
Ooh.
My first comp was PA.
But it was just a really fun day. I wasn't thinking about making a weight class even. I don't know what happened if I even knew what weight class I was doing.
Yeah.
It would have been.
I'm trying to think now as well. Like when I say my first comp, my first like sanctioned comp, I don't know if I did know the rules. I remember showing up and like weighing in, and back then it was traditional weight classes. So I was in the 90 kilo class. So I was happy I made it under 90.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember they checked over my equipment. They're like, "Where's your soft suit?" And I'm like, "What's that?" I didn't have a soft suit.
What's that?
They let me compete anyway. This is at like the
Really?
Yeah, the UQ Powerlifting Club, which is an old scout shed.
UQ.
That's like elevated on like floorboards, and so when you do deadlifts, you have to put it down really softly so you don't go through the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they still let me compete because back then, you know, powerlifting had no one in it, and there were like 8 people in this comp, and everyone was equipped because back then there was no such thing as raw. And I was like, why are people putting on these? Why is the guy? I don't want one of these suits if he's struggling
Hanging
to
on
get
the
into
mono
it
trying
like
to
that.
It was
Yeah.
an accident though, right? Because you were meant to sign up to a different comp, and then it was full.
Yeah, I wanted to do a strongman comp.
Yeah.
The strongman comp was full.
Imagine if it wasn't. Imagine if you ended up having zero weakness for strongmen.
Yeah.
I'd rather not imagine that, to be honest. No offense to all my stone hugging mates, rock huggers.
Glorify hobbyist furniture removalists.
Oh, wow, savage.
I remember Andy said, it's like, what? All you do is pick up miscellaneous objects and move them around. I was like, kind of true.
So true.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly have no idea if I knew the rules,
Mm-hmm.
or I must have, because I didn't really screw up any of the rules.
So that was one of your most memorable powerlifting memories?
No, I can barely remember the day.
Mm-hmm.
All of my memorable ones are coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one that comes to mind is Jason Semler. The first time he broke, every time he broke the bench record was unbelievable, like butterflies kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty crazy it was at the original Orang gym, and I had the idea of one competition. So we were like in a shed, of asking the guy next door if we could put the competition in that and then have our shed as the warm-up room. And I only did it that one time, but it was cool. I just didn't like walking back and forth constantly. But the record was 260, I think it was 263. And we ended up doing 272.5 on the day, so 600 pounds. And it was just a perfect day for him. And it was just like my first inkling into I can coach something big. It was just a big confidence boost for me as an up-and-coming coach. And it was so cool to see him get it after just being a gym lifter that always said, no, I'm not strong enough to break the record, or I'm not strong enough to bench in competition.
Wow.
I want to wait until I can do more. Everything about it was just, really cool.
CJ?
Oh man, there's so many. For me, it's like I love seeing people that do an amazing feat of strength that is like new for them, or like a PB. Obviously, like I don't know. I wasn't even there, but when you squatted 400, that was really sick. I remember seeing that on my stories. I was like, oh my gosh.
That was cool.
Anytime Paris pulls a record, and it's like a 3-minute pull.
Watching other people's PBs is so satisfying.
Yeah. Or like your 140 bench. Like that was in the gym. And that to me is just like, that sticks with me. I'd say like a memory was probably like my first pro raw that I went to. That was the first time I was like, oh, I've never seen humans that look like this before. And yeah, I always pretty much was like, this guy, Vasa, he's just this monster. And he's one of those like so big that you like can't help but stare and you feel bad because he's just so huge.
Just big everywhere.
Because he'd be bigger than Theo, right?
Yeah.
And you know how Theo sticks out, like so when you see him, you're like, oh my gosh, they make you in that size. That's wild.
Do you know what I love? I love seeing like Vasa, Joe Whitaker, and like Mel from Reaper Strength. I love how they're all like big, scary looking, intimidating dudes, and they always repost each other's stuff with like kissy faces.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always shocked by how big Dylan is in person. Like I remember this one time sitting with a bunch of people in Perth waiting for them to rock up. Like everyone had parked and we were waiting at this burger shop, and he was just walking down the road with someone who was quite short next to him. Like they were a regular person short, and he's like gigantic. And it was just like, it looked like watching Thor walk down the street. Like it was just scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very scary. They've all got that like big like side to side powerlifting waddle as well. Their thighs are too big to walk in a straight line. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What's yours, James?
Well, I'll do a few. I'll do like myself, coaching one, and then like a moment.
I reckon we just cycle around and throw out a few that come to mind.
So a coaching one for me was when I was like, oh man, like this is the first time I've where I've seen huge progress, like really significant progress. I'm like, fuck, this is really good. Angus Roxburgh. Like that was, by the way, just quickly, Angus's brother is competing this weekend.
Oh, is he?
Alex.
Yeah. When Bridget started coaching him, he could barely squat 50 kilos.
Yeah.
He squatted 180 the other day.
That's sick.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like it looked like he was going to fall over squatting 50.
Wow.
And he squatted 180. And I was like, what the fuck?
Crazy.
And like Bridget was showing me all his lifts, and he's gotten so strong. It's fucking so cool to see.
So good.
Yeah, and but Angus Roxburgh, like that's my like one for me as a coach. I'm like, man, this is so cool to see. Like our first comp together, he benched 140, squatted 207, deadlifted 230, and then our second comp, within a year he added 100 kilos to his total. Like he opened heavier than his third attempt at his first comp. His squat opener was, 40 kilos above his third attempt. Like, it was like crazy progress. It was like one of those journeys that, like, if you didn't know any better, if you didn't understand the, how programming and coaching works, it's just one of those ones you'd be like, you'd accuse someone of taking steroids. Like, it was one of those, it was really cool. But Angus works really hard. So that was really cool. So watching his progress over time is like a really memorable coaching moment, and I still coach him now. But then Eric Rodgick pulling 3, whatever it was.
Oh, yes.
That was a pretty special moment.
That was fucking awesome.
310?
Yeah. I don't know. I just love seeing people that are made for big moments.
Yeah.
And, that was one of those moments. Eric was never going to miss that deadlift.
Yeah.
You could have loaded 350 on that bar and you would have picked it up.
Yeah.
So that was just like, everyone was going nuts. It was it was late. Everyone's tired.
Everyone's so tired.
Yeah, it was fucking freezing in that venue.
It was dark.
Yes, it was so
The sun had gone down. It was dark.
And this is when COVID was coming back, so everyone was getting sick. And just seeing everybody lose it for Eric, and the way Eric turned around and was, he had that fucking arrogant strut about him, and it was just cool. I love seeing dudes that don't fold under pressure.
Yeah.
And I think he pulled it was for the win, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was for the win. So that was fucking, I still think about that. Every now and again, I'll just think about that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nuts. You were G'ing him up so hard as well.
Oh, he's like, he's scary. It was cool. Really cool.
That was a great
Yeah, I
moment.
kind of miss when you go crazy emceeing, James. When you just let loose.
Don't get a chance to as much because you're always coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss it. I saw a video. I was going to send it to you. There's a video of Bruce Buffer, the MC for the UFC.
Yeah.
And when he gets in the zone, he has to psych himself up for his announcement. So he's on the cage. He does like what fighters do. He'll be walking around pacing on the cage. I was going to send it to you, like when I MC at Nationals.
Yeah, that's sick. See, Americans take their job seriously.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of other really standout moments. I mean, like Dylan's performance at Pro Raw 11, the one just the year before, it was 2019. He went, he did his first 1,000-pound squat in competition. Then he deadlifted 410, so he was the first person ever to go 1,000-pound squat, 900-pound deadlift in competition. 410 was also the biggest deadlift ever in Australia, and it was also the biggest total by a junior at the time. So it was like all these like big crushing milestones all at one competition, just like flawless. And like the I don't know, it's the times that I feel the most nervous is those sort of moments. Like when it's loaded on the bar and like, you know, you're with your lifter and then they walk away. That's when it's like max nerves, just heart pumping and shaking and just freaking out.
Oh,
because there's so much pressure on everyone in that situation. Like that's the sort of stuff that keeps me coaching.
Yeah, Dylan was a global superstar in powerlifting after that.
That was insane. Like that moment was, definitely for me, one of the highlights of my coaching careers from an experience perspective. Like I don't know how many times I've felt like that. I've definitely felt like that a bunch of times, like Coops benching 300 for the first time. So those sort of moments are, huge. And so that one in particular stands out massively in my eyes.
I still remember that watching that on the live stream that year. And then I remember I was in Bali at the time and I watched Big Dogs 4, 3, whatever it was back then.
Yeah.
But I remember, so I was on holiday, but I was like, I have to watch Dylan Hellriegel. I want to see what he can do. And then he was sick, eh?
Yeah, that was the Big Dogs after that particular pro roll. And he was sick as hell.
Yeah. But I remember thinking, I have to watch this guy. I want to see him fucking do something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like pale and lying down on the floor before the comp, and like we were talking about just leave it, man, just don't do it, but he really wanted to do it, and he just scraped his way through, and even on his worst day still totaled over 1,000.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy.
His worst day, gosh.
That's silly, eh?
That's wild. I felt like I was just there when you were explaining it.
Yeah.
Because I don't coach, so that perspective that you just shared, like the lifter walking away, literally gave me chills because I see that now.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
I'm not a parent, but imagine it's what it's like watching your child leave the nest. Like, oh no, what happens next? Have I prepared them enough? Are they ready for this? Can they handle this without me?
Oh gosh.
My dad would have been, thank fuck that's over. He's gone.
Any other standout moments you can think of, Meg?
Well, now that you've mentioned like nationals, I look forward to them every year, and even though they are literally the most exhausting little stints of the year, but they're just so much fun. And the exhaustion just adds to it. I don't know. There's like a rush of adrenaline on that last day when you're almost finishing up, and it's just so rewarding. And I guess earlier when CJ was talking about your 400 kilo squat, I guess because I haven't actually seen you compete as much in real life, and like the lead up to it, you know, everything from you sometimes literally not even being able to squat because you're in so much pain, and then the next week your bench shirt being stolen and stuff. There was a lot of there was just like a lot of suspense built up for me to finally watch you compete, and then I got to, so that was really cool. Yeah.
It was a fun comp. I'm very not fun to watch compete though.
Yeah, you are.
Like I just sit out the back by myself.
This is true.
Quiet.
You're just composed. You're very composed.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. It's boring. I don't get hyped up when I walk out and grab the lift. I'm not like shaking and grabbing the bar and screaming. I just kind of do it.
There's something admirable about it though. Like that's why I like watching people like Yuri Belkin and like yourself. It's just stoic. It's like, I'm here to do a job.
Yeah, but anyone that lifts or knows lifting and also knows you can still see it. I still see when you switch on. I remember you're going for this huge bench and you were like walking out on the platform and you were just like staring at the weight on the bar and like eyeing it down. And I was like, oh, he's flipping the switch.
You're definitely thinking of another lifter when you use the term huge bench. No. I don't think that was me, brother.
It was you.
That was me you're talking about.
Yeah, yes. My bad.
Must have been.
Just thinking about that pro roll, like that was the first time I saw Lilley squat. I think that was pro roll 11?
12.
12. Was it 12?
Wait, because you weren't involved with us at Pro Row 11. That was 2019.
Okay, no.
Before you were even doing powerlifting stuff.
Yeah. It was the one.
12.
Okay, 12.
And then came down to.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that was the first time I saw, and she was nowhere near like the size that she is now, and still squatting. I think she squatted like 270 at that comp. Oh. And I was just looking. I was like, who are these people that can do this? And I think that was the first comp I saw Sarah Rainbow compete.
Yeah.
And that's That's just unreal. When I saw that like get loaded on the bar, I was like, "There's no way," and then it just flies. And you're like,
Yeah, Lilley.
why do I do this?
She's a phenomenal athlete to watch.
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah. She's definitely got that athletic edge.
That was one of my favorite podcasts we've ever done with her.
Yeah.
I think it was because it was the first time I've ever met her. I was like, fuck, she is so cool as well.
Did you see what she did on the weekend?
Yeah, the Highland Games.
Yeah, so second female ever to toss the camber in Australia
Oh, yeah, second.
and broke the record for the throw thing. Yeah.
Yeah, weapon. Absolute weapon. Did you
She
see all the
just-
comments on the posts?
Yeah. Yeah, we were
So
going through
good,
them.
eh?
Going through them last night. I'm hoping that Paro Dwyer, that guy, I'm hoping he does a video on her.
He's
Yeah.
funny.
I love how she, she doesn't give a fuck about it.
Nah.
Like, she's the one that reposted it and saying,
Yeah,
I'm getting flamed.
roasted
Yeah.
in the comments.
And then I read all the comments. I'm like, fuck, they're funny. And I'm glad that she sees the funny side to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the
Yeah.
people defending her are hilarious as well.
Yeah.
Like,
They're both funny.
yeah.
But I had that same kind of crazy butterflies feeling at the comp we just went to in Miami because of what I was saying on the last podcast with her, struggling in the warm-ups and then us not being able to change her opener.
Yeah.
But in a different way, it was kind of like, what's going to happen now? Have I failed as a coach? Should I have recognized this earlier and changed it and all this sort of stuff? But being the athlete she is, she went ahead and crushed that.
Incredible.
Huge standout moments for me is like less about the lifting itself, but I traveled to Worlds quite a few times, GPC Worlds mainly with Steve Hampton, and Big Dog Steve, bless him, it was all about the trip for him. Like it was the highlight of his year, but he loved powerlifting through and through. Like he's the kind of guy that's 200% into whatever he's into at the time. But every single Worlds, he would almost time out almost every lift, especially squats. Like
Almost.
legit be getting the squat call on the buzzer kind of thing.
Oh my goodness.
And it was always, I don't get stressed, and it was always so stressful. Because he just was like off with the fairies. I'd be like, Steve, you know the rules. You got to hurry up. Come on, let's go.
With the fairies.
He'd just be being Steve. You know how he just gets like distracted?
Having a yarn with someone.
Yeah.
After the buzz, yeah.
Like, bro, you've flown to the other side of the world for 3 minutes of your life for squats. Don't miss it.
For 3 minutes of your life is hilarious.
Like the annoying thing is someone who knows who's going to time out, like rushes and normally misses anyway. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Just go ahead with it. Get the buzzer, like, meh, still get the squat.
Gosh.
Yeah, traveling with Steve was always hilarious.
He's a funny bloke.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any
Shout
other
out to
stories?
Steve. I've got so many, but
Me
I don't want
too.
to just make it all about me. What's yours?
I'm just trying to think of what I always think about like 2019 when there was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, 12 of us. How many of us were all prepping for the same comp? That GPC, what was it called again?
Like Spring Classic or whatever?
Yeah, Spring Battle of I can't remember what
Yeah,
it
Spring
was.
Classic.
Yeah. But I remember that was just so much fun. That was really memorable for me. And that was just a fun prep. We're all prepping, like, had some of the really strong guys on one combo, mono. Then you had like the not strong guys like me, Taylor on another one. But it was just really cool having, 10 or 11 of us all prepping for the exact same comp. We all did Zero's programming, so it was really fun. Like, I don't know, I just thought that was really cool. That was a really enjoyable prep for me.
Yeah. It's interesting as the landscape of powerlifting has changed, how that just doesn't happen as much anymore. Like as in, not only are the gyms bigger, but there's so many comps all the time that very rarely is like, the whole gym prepping for one thing. In fact, that never happens. But back then it was like there were 2 or 3 GPC comps a year that we could do. Those were really among our only options. And so anyone who was competing in those particular comps or feds was all prepping towards the same thing, which was a nightmare on my knees and arms.
Yeah. Like, I think about that now. Like, I used to complain. Like, I complain about wrapping, my arms being sore. But you literally were the only one that wrapped knees.
No, I always tried to encourage people to learn, but no one really did. And I didn't mind when it was like 15 or 20 of us on one night. It was always annoying when like 2 people would come the next day, be like, oh, My rapping shift was yesterday. I'm doing this, overtime now.
Yeah.
How hard is it?
It's not.
It's not?
Nah.
At rapping knees.
It's a skill, and you just get used to it
Okay.
when you're doing tons like that. Because I'd be rapping everyone and squatting and rapping myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
You just get used to it. I'm way less good at it now than I was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good at rapping, but my fitness of rapping is way down because I never do it. Like, I find myself only ever rapping on comp days. There's not many people here who do rap squats, or not many people here that I coach directly anymore. And the ones that I do coach who are local, I rap so rarely. So I hardly ever get.
Yeah,
You know what? I was
Get
talking
notes when I'm rapping 10 people.
Do you know what? I was talking to someone, I can't remember who it was. I was talking about, because when my arms are fucked, I'll be like, Tom bro, can you please help me rap? Tom bro's got man strength. Like, like proper man strength where he can keep doing that shit, or like lifting shit doesn't bother him. And that's what Tom bro has. He's like, he's strong in the gym, but he's also got man strength that he's developed at a young age.
It's dumb strength.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean though?
Yeah. You see it when he moves gym equipment.
Yeah.
That's the time you're like, oh, that's
like when
different.
he's like, yeah, we'll pick up this pallet. I'm like, CJ, come help me. This thing's a fucking 1,000,000 kilos. I can't lift this.
Yeah. Dan Carpenter's the same.
Yeah.
He's just got that.
Man strength.
Yeah.
I was glad that none of you guys saw me then the other week when we were bringing up. So at Zero Brisbane, there's like a back storage area, and we were taking up all the Alico plates to go to the Sunshine Coast. So there's like 98 red plates, and then 30 something blues, like a lot of plates. And I was carrying them up the stairs by myself, 2 at a time, and my fingers got destroyed to the point where I couldn't like grip anything anymore. And you know the trees in those boxes? We had to move 2 of them upstairs, and they're not that heavy. Like, you can manhandle one of those around yourself pretty easily. And I couldn't hold on to it. I kept having to stop. I was doing it with Scott, like Effectus Physio Scott. And I had to keep stopping him and being like, bro, I got to put this down. I'm sorry. So my fingers were like, I could squeeze as hard as I can. They'd just be like, and open up. They were just so weak by that point from carrying plates. So I lost the man strength. Just glad no one was around to see it.
Well, should we call it there?
Yeah, we can. I got endless stories, but
me too. I need to actually write them down.
I know. When I'm put on the spot, I struggle to pick. I don't want to miss any of them, but I want to go through all of them at the same time. I'll leave. Nah, I won't. I was going to say I'll leave with one, but I'm not going to.
Tease the audience.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Zero Podcast. If you want more information, head to our Instagram, _weakness. Hit the link in the bio for all of our services and any information on upcoming workshops and events. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review so we can have a broader reach and answer more people's questions. Thank you once more.